Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev
Jai
Ashish
Gurudev
ji.
Ashish ji. So today we have with us Radha Rajaji from Mumbai. She is an art of living teacher and she is associated with art of living since 1997. So she also has so many guru stories. So we will listen to her. Jai Gurudev.
Right. Yeah. Um, Jai Gurudev to all of you. There are a lot of Guru stories that I have, but this one is very close to my heart. And this happened in 2014 or 15. We had gone for a family trip to Jim Corbett National Park, my husband and my two children. And we had booked for two safaris to see the tigers. And we were very excited, that we'll get to see the tigers. And because the previous day, they had got to see a tigress with her two cubs. So a lot of excitement in us to go for our safari. So the day in the morning, for the morning safari, we got up and it was pretty early, around 6 o'clock or something. We had to report. I told my children, I bribed them, and I told them, if you want to get a view of the tigress with her cubs, you should do your kriya. And so they quickly agreed, and they did their Art Excel kriya. And so we set on for our tour, and we were asked to get into a canter. Canters are those huge army vans. They are pretty tall, and it's more like a double decker bus kind of a thing. But those canters are they are maintained in a very shabby way. In the sense, they are really old ones. We got into the canter, and on my right, my son was there, and my husband on my left, and my daughter on this side of the window of the canter. And there were two more families with their infants in ahead of us, and we set on our tour to see the tigress. And it so happened the previous 2 3 days there have been very heavy landslides and all that due to rains. So there were big boulders, and it was a very rickety ride on the canter and uphill climb. So to get a better view of the valley and the scene, my son got up on his right side and to see the view. So a jiffy thought comes in my mind. I hope the door is latched properly. And after the thought, next minute I see my daughter also gets up, but obviously to follow her brother, and she gets up on her side to see. Suddenly the door opens up, and the opens up, and the door opens up fully, and she flies out of the canter, and I can see her going like a kerchief being thrown out of the canter. And we didn't know what to do. Suddenly I started screaming to the driver, asking him to stop uh, the van. But he obviously could not hear because he was very well barricaded with iron wala cabin kind of a thing. Because generally the wild animals attack the driver first, it seems. So he could not hear us, and we are like shouting, and the other family who were ahead of us, they were also shouting, asking the driver to stop. Finally, he heard us, and he stopped. My husband jumped, and I also jumped, and the canter was almost 1.5 meters ahead of us, on an uphill climb. Quickly, I ran to my daughter, and now comes the Guru Grace story, how he has handled it so well, how he has taken care of the situation. My daughter had fallen flat on her stomach, and then I went and picked her up, and I could see the place where she had fallen. There were dry twigs and leaves, and she was crying, no doubt, but she was crying in fear. She didn't have any kind of bruises or any bad injury at all. So I mean, I'm still getting those goose pimples, and it was I had tears in my eyes, and like I then quickly we had to come back into the canter, and then whatever happened that happened. We had to lodge a complaint and all this stuff. So coming back to the story, it is like how could have this happened if we are moving ahead and as per the law of motion, my daughter should have fallen on her back, on her head with a thud. But here she was lying down flat on the ground and with twigs and dry leaves. Of course, there were huge boulders all around her, and only she was just crying in fear with absolutely no injury whatsoever. So, what can you call this? You can call, I mean, something which is defying the law of motion, defying the law of science. It is Guru grace. It is Guru Kripa, which is always flowing on us 24 by 7. You know, when we are in gratitude, uh, when we are in full of gratitude with abundance, grace flows on us 24 by 7. You know? So and that's it. Jai Gurudev.